Hello everyone, very excited for this panel today with the lovely Budreya. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
No, it's great. So today, the title of today's session is BANAATFC. Yesterday, today, and then tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's start with yesterday. Who is BANAATFC?
So BANAATFC is a women's football club that started 2 years ago. This is now the start of our third season. We were launched on Emirati Women's Day, as I mentioned yesterday, launched by GQ, made a lot of noise in our first 3 months actually. And the club was born out of the need for representation in this field, because women's football here is still quite amateur. There weren't enough clubs that people even knew about. We have a club that was in Abu Dhabi that had started since 2005, that had almost single-handedly built the legacy of UAE football, and was actually known as the UAE national team for a good 18 years. But nobody knew. Nobody outside of women's football knew. Only female footballers and people within this industry. Mm-hmm. So when BANAATFC came about, I had already heard stories of frustration from Emirati players, Saudi players, Egyptian players, about the lack of support and everything everyone globally struggles with, including in the UK and the USA and lower tiers. So I thought maybe I can do something to change things a little bit, given my background in sports marketing, all the work I've done through my consultancy and the pro league and the clubs I've worked in. So I started this club for these women.
And for me, what's really special is the story about the naming as well. I think that's quite key, and it, I guess, holds down and represents the values of the club as well and what you're doing.
Absolutely. So BANAATFC, Banaat means girls in Arabic. Obviously, girls football club. That was a big part of the representation I'm talking about, because none of it was present. Even the club in Abu Dhabi was Abu Dhabi Country Club. So yeah, that was very important for all girls around here to see themselves in a club and start to dream about football as something that is possible for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure on your journey as well, you received a lot of no's. How did you overcome that? And for anyone who's listening today is Family Day. There may be young minds here. How did you overcome those no's?
I wouldn't say they were no's. Having worked in men's football my whole life, I've already built quite a network and gotten support from, let's say, the right authorities, federations, leagues. But there were a lot of doubters, for sure. Most of the time, I would start a project that would be a little bit ahead of its time for the country, including my previous consultancy, Ghost Concept. That's where we did athlete brand development, and people didn't even understand what that was at the time. So everyone always thinks what I'm starting is maybe a little bit too crazy for this region. Oh, it's not really going to work, until it does, and then everyone wants to be a part of it. So it's just fuel, right? Like anyone who says no to you, I'm like, all right, thank you, let me show you. And then I'll say no to you. That's how it works.
And you go again. And I guess it's just what's next then. So there's so much in the region, the growth of the sport itself. How are you involved in that?
Well, with BANAATFC, what we were able to do is actually raise the profile of women's football around here. Like I said, nothing like that existed before. But once we came, onto the scene, everyone else that was around before us, even through academies, not necessarily clubs, were maybe a little bit frustrated that this new kid on the block just came and stole the show. But just because we made an effort. So it made everyone else wake up a little bit and make an effort as well. And I'm very proud to say that, yes, we did start this. We did have others want to show us up. And that's a good thing, because you want competition in football on and off the pitch. You want to see other clubs level up a little bit. See what I did there? Level up a little bit, and then you go again, and you go even harder, and then you just compete in every aspect. So we've already made a difference in that sense. And because now it's our third season, our first year was really about making noise, letting people know we were here. And then our second year was very much built around community. And that was when we started our academy and involved the parents in a lot of the things that we did, including iftar on the pitch, and we did Sunday runs. So we're starting now the BANAATFC Run Club. Football runs in the family is our slogan. And so we're doing everything we can to keep them engaged with us. And that's very, very important, because we found that that's where most of the loyalty was really ignited through families and community. And then this season is all about performance. We are very, very lucky to have, for me, the legendary Bakary Sagna, who played for Arsenal and France and Man City, be our head coach. And that says a lot about at least his faith in what we're doing, because it's not necessarily for women's football around here. It's not that it's big enough yet, but he knows where we're going with this club. So now with him, and we've got an excellent new coach that's joined us as well, Coach Kevin. Right here, Coach Kevin. He's been amazing in really changing the mindsets of the players. And obviously having a coach like Bakary is great as a player turned coach, but then having Kevin come in also really, really made a difference with the girls and their confidence on the pitch, and helped us also to see the game from a different light. And this year is all about winning, because now that the Asian Champions League has launched for women, it's in its second season, I want to play in the third. And it's not really, not that it's not optional to lose, a lot of pressure on you, Kevin, there, but we need to win to give us a chance to fight another year, because very soon women's football here is going to go pro, meaning all the men's clubs, or at least the clubs that think they have a chance or want to compete in the Champions League, will have to have a women's pro team. That's going to happen in 1 to 2 years. When that happens, it's sink or swim for us, because we don't have the funding to compete with them. Not yet. It's coming.
So
I believe in it.
How do you do that?
Right now, it's all of my like, I'm funding the club. It's all a personal investment from my end, because I know where I'm going. There are a lot of interested sponsors. There are a lot of interesting conversations we're having right now that I know this year is going to be completely different. And unfortunately, in football, it's more than sponsors. You do need a sheikh to come in and say, I'm going to take over this club and take it where no one else can. So we are hopeful that this will be the year, because I've always believed in something I was talking about earlier, pull, not push. So the way I attract, or the way I've landed any sponsor or partner that I've ever had, was to attract them to me. I don't go and ask, because that's not how I hold the power. If they come to us, then I hold the value of the club. I can negotiate. So that's what we're doing for this year. That's the focus, because I want to be able to compete another year. I want that when all these men's clubs have women's teams, I want a chance for us to fight.
And where do you see Banaat in 5 years, let's say, then?
That's a tough question, because the industry is going to change very much. So if the funding is there, I want us at the top of the table. I want to be able to, I mean, we're already in Nike in Dubai Mall, which is crazy. We have, the mannequins are there. If you walk in now, you'll see the mannequins in our away kit that we launched last week. And that's side by side by the top clubs of Dubai. And we're actually at a higher tier in our sponsorship package with Nike, higher than what the top clubs that are actual Champions League winners have. So we get that level of attention from them, which is incredible.
It's the lilac color as well.
It's the lilac. It's the lilac. But I think we can definitely be up there and compete. But I've got big dreams built around the football, so I would love to start a talent development center in Khorfakan, for example. Khorfakan is in the Northern Emirates in Sharjah, because a lot of the best Emirati players come from the Northern Emirates. They come from Abu Dhabi or Northern Emirates. Dubai doesn't have that many Emirati players, I would say. But the talent that I get from there, from Khorfakan and Sharjah and Chelba, they're incredible. but they don't have opportunities or facilities over there. So I would love to create something like that over there, almost like a mini Aspire for girls in Khorfakan. And then also our academy, which we launched last year and is in its second season, in 1 year we've been able to add 4 new age groups, and we have under 7s. You know, I have girls as young as 5 in the academy, and we have a second location now. But I've also recently changed the branding for the academy from BANAATFC Academy to Banaat Academy because I want to add more sports there as well.
Very exciting to hear that.
So I'd love to add basketball because that's my favorite sport, actually. But I'd love to add more opportunities for girls who never saw themselves in the products that are on offer around the UAE because they were maybe too Western, or because we're a modest club. That's something I'd mentioned yesterday. A lot of the girls are attracted to that. So I don't want a hijabi girl to come and feel
uncomfortable,
different, or like she doesn't fit in. So I want everyone else to make her feel that welcome.
So
right?
Someone who's on your club, what would you want them to walk away and be like, I'm at Banaat FC because?
Well, I think a lot of them right now look up to the first team. And they're very excited at the idea that there is an actual pathway, that even the parents see their younger girls and then they'll bring their little girls to our women's games, and they see that that's a potential future for them. It doesn't need to be at Banaat, but they give the girls that chance to dream of that future, that this is a possibility. And by the time they're of age, this region will have opportunities for them to be professional full-time footballers.
Amazing. And I guess with the, again, just going back to where we are, the sports tech, do you see any changes in your club just regarding that, as in the development of the players? You said there's a focus on performance.
100%. So when I started this club, it was with support from the federation. So I called up the head coach of the women's national team. They were on camp in Thailand. And I told her, I've decided to start a women's football club. And she just smiled. And she said, finally, we've been waiting for you. And I know they've been wanting me to do some work with women's football, but I just wasn't ready to give it the attention that it needed. And so at the first year, they gave us 19 players that I got all from the national team. I got a head coach from the national team. The facilities, we were training in the federation. That was 3 months that helped me really kickstart everything. And then things changed a little bit. We were featured by FIFA. They wrote an article about us, and that headline changed a lot for us. It said, Banaat FC changes the future of Emirati women's football. That made a lot of people happy and a lot of people not so much.
Why not
people
so
liked
much?
that things were changing, but they didn't like that I was the one
to do it,
changing things, that they weren't the ones changing things. But anyway, everything worked for the better because we were just pushed to do more for ourselves. Initially, I didn't have the budget for all this. So they were covering transport, they gave me facilities, they covered so much, and then suddenly I had to figure it all out for myself. But what ended up happening was that I reviewed everything I had, and through this process, the past few years, I've become a bit of an unofficial technical director, sporting director, not technical. Yeah. Do not ask me to analyze a game. I cannot do that. Coach knows that. But sporting director, and that I can look at my team and see what it's missing, see the talent we need, who's going to gel with who, what's going to become a problem. I've become good at this. And it started with the difficulties of our first year. So there were players that left, players that had to go. I changed the coaching staff. A lot had changed through the years that now I feel like what we have now is a well-curated team of the best players in the country. And they are all incredible. Like, if you ask us, who's the best player on your team? I can't pick one. And that's a great position to be in. And we started the league. Again, not many people know about this league. They don't know about women's football, but there is rivalry. We have rivalry with 1 to 2 clubs here. The club we played against, we played our first game. To be very honest, they annihilated us in our last game of the season last year, but I was missing 6 players, injuries, and then national team would, they go with the national team whenever they're called. And so we weren't in our best place last year at all. But then this year we played the first game against them. on their pitch without two of my starting players and an international player, the first international player that I've brought as a professional athlete from Sierra Leone, our striker. And we beat them 4-1. And it was incredible. We had a great attendance. For women's football, saying great attendance means 150 people. That is a big number because most of our games, if you have 7 people there, you're still happy. You're still happy these 7 people showed up for you. But when you see on the side of the pitch, all these people showed up for this game because they know what this game means. All the other clubs, all the players, everyone wanted to see that game. And it was such a special moment for us. And for me, this was just a sign of what is to come. And there's a lot of pressure on us. We played an international friendly against Qadsiya Football Club from Saudi. They flew in here for one night on their private jet to come and play against us. And we actually thought we would get destroyed in that game because of how much women's football is promoted there, and we know the funding that they have with Aramco, and we know the players that they have from the Brazil national team, from European clubs that played in the Champions League. They beat us 2-1. And
not that bad.
That was a great experience for us, and we're playing against the Indian women's national team in 2 days. So we're getting attention of international organizations and teams that want to come here to compete against us, which is such a special place to be in. And because of how we present the club online, most people think this is a professional club.
For sure. I think I was going to mention that your Instagram presence, your just overall marketing, I would say, is quite impressive. Before we met, I knew about BANAATFC and I was in the UK. So how comes you've put in so much focus into that? Is that did you do like a special project? Was this your intention?
Yeah, because I worked in Ghost Concept, I worked with not just athletes on their social media presence and turning them into brands, but also with clubs and federations on their social media. And I'd consulted with several clubs on social media and brand and image. And that became frustrating for me because things don't go the way you want when there's like a million levels of approvals ahead of you and the content goes out in a completely different way than what you had intended. So now I was in control and I know how to do this. Obviously, I do wish, yes, I had a bigger team like I had before, but now that I've let go of that consultancy with the focus now completely being on Banaat, it is much harder, but a lot of what you would see on there, maybe in the first 2 years, was me. Like it's work, it's photos I've taken, videos I've edited. Yes, the title is president, but that's like us bigging ourselves up because we know like this is going to be something. But it's still a small club. It is still a startup. It's something we're developing to make it look like it is worthy of all of these sponsorships because again, pull, not push. So I will create it online, I will build it, and they will come, and they did. In our first year, I had the top 5 brands. I had Nike, Adidas, Puma, and New Balance, and Umbro. All come to us wanting Banaat.
What you guys have done.
That was such a great experience. We got TikTok on our jersey, and it was the first time TikTok had ever been a jersey sponsor of a independent women's national team. We did so much with but of course, a lot of it is based on my network or my reputation or the work that I've done with all these brands through my consultancy. So a lot of people knew that if I'm building something, that it's going to be something. So they tried to jump on it before it even became anything. And now we're very, very fortunate to be in the position we're on. We just signed with Bose as well. They're now the official sound of BANAATFC. They're a sleeve sponsor as well. So there are good things coming ahead, and hopefully what we do ends up not just helping the girls on our team, regardless of where we go, but creating more opportunities, getting other clubs to start and compete. I'd love to see more people do what we're doing to just create more opportunities for women in the UAE.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I will wrap up, but my final question is, what would you advise someone who's also wanting to start their own club? It's a lot of work. Have time.
It's tough because I wouldn't say I had like regular challenges because of my network. You know, I don't imagine any club would just pick up the phone and speak to the federation and receive a team. So I was very, very lucky. I don't know. It's
hard work.
It's a tough one. I don't know what components you need, because I did so much of it on my own, but with support from people that weren't maybe full-time with me.
If just listening is very much your values, I think your core values of the club is a real testament.
100%. 100%. I do not budge on the reason I'm here, what I'm doing this for. It's very important to remember that we're here about like resilience, community, representation, and there are things we just won't do. Like even with our lilac. You know, we had issues where some of the brands said, oh, we can't make lilac. I'm like, well, thank you very much. They're like, but we're giving you the biggest offer, but thank you very much. I'm not changing my color because you can't deliver it or you can't customize for me. You're not for me because I know what we're building. So, yeah, you believe in something, you try to create it for the right reasons and stand your ground.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Budreya. It's been an honor listening to you and interviewing you, and I hope to see you very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.